Listen to me with your heart open, because this moment is not accidental. Something is shifting around you, and even if you cannot explain it with words, your spirit already knows. There is a quiet pressure in the air, a holy disturbance that will not let you remain as you are. You may feel unsettled, stretched, or even restless, but this is not confusion. This is God calling you forward. This is God summoning you out of what has been familiar and into what has been prepared. Right now, before anything changes on the outside, something is already changing within you, and that is how every true transformation begins. God does not move loudly at first. God moves deeply. Long before doors open, God rearranges the heart. Long before paths appear, God reshapes the vision. If you have sensed an inner stirring that refuses to be silenced, it is because God is awakening you to a new season. Not a cosmetic change, not a temporary adjustment, but a season that will redefine how you see, how you endure, how you trust, and how you walk. This calling is not meant to flatter you. It is meant to form you. It is not meant to impress others. It is meant to align you with divine purpose. You may be wondering why the old season suddenly feels heavy. Why what once brought comfort now brings restlessness. Why routines feel empty and achievements feel incomplete. It is because God never allows you to outgrow a season without also calling you out of it. The discomfort you feel is not failure, it is transition. God is gently but firmly loosening your grip on what you have mastered so you can receive what you have not yet imagined. If you stayed where you were, your growth would stop. So God is calling you forward, not because you are weak, but because you are ready. Understand this deeply. God never calls without intention. God never shifts seasons without provision. The same God who sustained you before will guide you now. The same God who protected you in uncertainty will protect you in expansion. When God calls you into a new season, it is not because the old one was wasted. Every struggle, every delay, every unseen tear was shaping you for what comes next. Nothing was lost. Nothing was ignored. Everything was counted. There are moments when God speaks softly, and there are moments when God speaks through circumstance. Perhaps doors have closed without explanation. Perhaps relationships have changed. Opportunities have dissolved, or plans you trusted have fallen apart. Do not rush to label this as loss. Sometimes God removes what you lean on so you can learn to stand in divine strength. Sometimes God clears the ground because what is coming requires space. The ending you are grieving may be the very doorway you have been praying for. A new season always begins before you feel ready. If you waited until you felt fully prepared, you would never move. God does not call the finished, God calls the willing. The fear you feel does not disqualify you. It confirms that what lies ahead is larger than what lies behind. Faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is obedience in the presence of fear, and God honors that obedience with guidance that unfolds step by step. Do not expect everything to make sense at once. God reveals in portions because trust is built in movement, not in stillness. If you could see the entire path, you would rely on certainty instead of God. So God gives just enough light for the next step, just enough clarity for today, just enough strength for now. Tomorrow will receive its own measure. This is how dependence is formed, and this is how intimacy with God deepens. You are not being rushed, you are being aligned. God's timing is precise, not hurried. Even when it feels late, it is never wrong. The season you are entering has been scheduled by divine wisdom, not human urgency. What feels delayed to you has been developing beneath the surface. Roots grow in darkness, foundations are laid in silence. When the season changes, what was hidden will suddenly support what becomes visible. Let go of the belief that you must carry everything you learned from the old season into the new one. Some tools will no longer fit. Some mindsets will no longer serve you. God is not only giving you new opportunities, God is offering you a new way of seeing. Old habits of fear, self-doubt, and constant striving cannot survive where God is leading you. The new season requires trust, humility, and a willingness to be taught again. There will be moments when you question yourself. You will wonder if you misunderstood the call, if you moved too soon, or if you are capable of what lies ahead. In those moments, remember this truth. God does not call by accident. If God has stirred your spirit, it is because divine grace will sustain your steps. You are not walking alone, even when it feels lonely. God walks with you in ways you may not yet recognize. This new season will test you, but it will not destroy you. It will stretch you, but it will not break you. Growth always demands more than comfort ever could. There will be days when obedience feels costly, when patience feels heavy, and when faith feels fragile. Yet even on those days, God is at work. Especially on those days, God is shaping resilience within you that no circumstance can take away. Do not compare your calling to anyone else's journey. God's work in you is specific, intentional, and personal. Comparison will only blur your vision and weaken your confidence. What God is building in you cannot be copied or replaced. Your pace, your process, and your path are designed with divine precision. Trust that what unfolds in your life is unfolding exactly as it should. There is a refining that happens when God ushers you into a new season. Motives are clarified. Desires are purified. What once mattered begins to fade, and what truly matters comes into focus. This is not loss of passion, it is alignment of purpose. God is not taking away your joy, God is deepening it. Joy that depends on circumstances will always be fragile. But joy rooted in God becomes unshakable. Expect resistance when you move forward. Not everything will welcome your growth. Some voices will misunderstand your change. Some will prefer the version of you that stayed smaller, quieter, or more predictable. Do not let that discourage you. When God elevates your calling, not everyone will be able to follow you into that new space. This does not mean you are wrong. It means you are obeying. God is calling you to release control and embrace trust. Control demands certainty. Trust invites surrender. In this new season, you will learn that surrender is not weakness, it is strength rightly placed. When you stop trying to manage every outcome, you make room for God to work beyond your limitations. What you could not force, God will fulfill in divine timing. You may feel like you are starting over, but you are not starting from nothing. You are starting from experience, from wisdom gained through endurance, from faith refined by waiting. The new season does not erase the past, it redeems it. Every lesson learned becomes a building block. Every hardship endured. Ed becomes a source of insight. Nothing is wasted when God is the author of your journey. Be attentive in this season. God often speaks through subtle impressions, quiet confirmations, and unexpected peace. Learn to listen without rushing, to move without panic, and to rest without guilt. The pace of this new season may feel different. You may be called to slow down in order to go further. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes strength is steady, faithful, and consistent. When doubt whispers, anchor yourself in what God has already brought you through. Remembrance is a powerful act of faith. If God sustained you before, God will sustain you again. If God guided you through uncertainty, God will guide you through expansion. Let past faithfulness silence present fear. Let gratitude become your grounding. The season you are entering will require courage, but courage grows through obedience. Each step taken in faith strengthens the next one. You do not need to feel brave to move forward. You need to trust that God's presence is greater than your hesitation. Courage is not found in confidence. It is found in reliance on God. There will be moments of solitude in this season, times when the path feels quiet and the affirmation scarce. Do not interpret silence as absence. God often works most deeply when there is less noise. Solitude sharpens discernment. It teaches you to hear God's voice above all others. In the quiet, your identity will be anchored more firmly in divine truth. Rather than external approval, God is calling you into a season of clarity. Confusion will not have the final word. Questions will not define your future. As you remain faithful, understanding will unfold. Not all at once, but enough to keep moving. Trust the process, even when it challenges your expectations. God's plans often arrive in forms we did not predict, but they always carry purpose. Do not underestimate the significance of this moment. Transitions shape destinies. How you respond to this calling will influence more than you realize. Your obedience today prepares impact tomorrow. Your faithfulness now creates pathways later. Even when the work feels small, it is never insignificant in the hands of God. The new season will invite you to live with deeper integrity, greater compassion, and stronger conviction. You will be called to stand firm when it would be easier to retreat, to speak truth with humility, and to walk in patience when results are delayed. This is not punishment, it is preparation. God is entrusting you with more, and trust requires growth. Remember that God's guidance is not fragile. You cannot miss what God has ordained by walking in sincere obedience. Even detours are used. Even delays are redeemed. When your heart remains open and your intentions align with God, your steps will be directed even when the path curves unexpectedly. Allow yourself to be transformed, not just repositioned. A new season is not merely about new surroundings. It is about a renewed spirit. Let God reshape your inner life so your outer life reflects divine alignment. Transformation begins where surrender meets trust. You are not alone in this calling. God's presence goes before you, surrounds you, and sustains you. When the weight feels heavy, rest in that presence. When the road feels long, draw strength from that presence. When uncertainty arises, let that presence be your assurance. This season will reveal strengths you did not know you had. It will awaken faith you did not realize was dormant. It will invite you into a deeper relationship with God, one that is not built on convenience but on commitment. This depth will anchor you through future challenges and victories alike. Stand where you are right now and acknowledge this truth. God is calling you forward with purpose, not away from safety, but into growth, not into confusion, but into alignment, not into fear, but into trust. The call may feel heavy because it matters. It may feel challenging because it is meaningful. Do not rush to arrive. Let yourself be formed along the way. The journey itself will teach you what the destination cannot. Every step taken in faith shapes the person who will stand in the fulfillment of this season. God is as invested in who you are becoming as in where you are going. Receive this moment with humility and courage. Say yes even if your voice trembles. Say yes even if the path is not fully clear. God honors the yes that is offered sincerely, for on that yes, guidance will flow, strength will rise, and peace will settle. This is not the end of what you know. It is the beginning of what you are becoming. God is calling you into a new season. And this season carries growth, purpose, refinement, and deeper trust. Walk forward with reverence, with patience, and with faith. The God who called you is faithful, and what God begins, God sustains. There will come a moment in this season when you realize that God is not only changing your direction, but reshaping your capacity. You will notice that situations that once overwhelmed you no longer have the same power. Challenges that would have shaken you before now meet a steadiness within you that did not exist in earlier seasons. This is not because life has become easier, but because God has strengthened you from the inside. Growth is often quiet, and maturity rarely announces itself. Yet its evidence is undeniable when pressure arises and you remain standing. God is inviting you to trust not just in moments of clarity, but also in moments of mystery. There is a faith that operates when answers are visible, and there is a deeper faith that rests even when explanations are withheld. This new season will teach you the sacred discipline of resting in God without needing constant confirmation. You will learn that certainty is not the foundation of faith. Trust is. And trust matures when you choose to believe that God is good even when the path feels unfamiliar. You may discover, that God is calling you to confront parts of yourself you once avoided. Old wounds, hidden fears, and unspoken doubts may surface, not to shame you, but to heal you. God does not expose to condemn, God reveals to restore. This season is not only about external movement, but internal freedom. The chains that lingered unseen will be gently loosened as you allow God access to places you once guarded tightly. Healing will not always feel gentle, but it will always be purposeful. In this season, obedience may require courage that goes beyond comfort. You may be asked to choose integrity when compromise would be easier, patience when urgency feels justified, and humility when recognition seems deserved. These moments shape character, and character sustains calling. God is far more concerned with who you are becoming than with how quickly you arrive. When you honor God in the unseen decisions, you prepare yourself for responsibilities that require spiritual weight. There will be times when progress feels slow, almost invisible. Do not measure this season by speed, measure it by depth. Roots grow slowly, yet they determine the strength of everything that rises above the surface. God is establishing you firmly so that when expansion comes, you will not be shaken by pressure or praise. Stability is being built within you, layer by layer, choice by choice, moment by moment. God is also teaching you discernment in this season. Not every opportunity is an assignment. Not every open door is meant to be entered. Wisdom will sharpen as you learn to pause, to listen, and to move only when peace aligns with conviction. Discernment is a quiet confidence that grows through closeness with God. As you remain attentive, you will sense when to advance and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain silent. This new season will refine how you view success. You will begin to understand that success is not defined by visibility, applause, or comparison. True success is alignment with God's will, even when the outcome is unseen by others. There is a fulfillment that comes from obedience alone, a peace that settles when your actions match divine guidance. That peace will sustain you far more than temporary recognition ever could. God is calling you to release old definitions of yourself, the labels you accepted, the limitations you believed, and the roles you outgrew can no longer contain who you are becoming. This may feel unsettling, as identity shifts often do, but it is necessary. God does not call you forward to remain the same. Transformation requires surrender, and surrender opens the door to a truer understanding of who you are in divine purpose. You may feel moments of vulnerability as you step into unfamiliar territory. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is openness. It is the space where God's strength becomes evident, When you allow yourself to be seen without armor, to move without guarantees, you create room for God to work beyond human control. This season will teach you that reliance on God is not a last resort, but the foundation of lasting strength. As you move forward, you will notice that your perspective begins to shift. What once provoked fear now invites prayer. What once demanded control now invites trust. This shift is subtle but profound. It marks the difference between surviving and becoming. God is not merely guiding you through circumstances. God is shaping how you interpret them. Through this renewed perspective, peace will grow even when answers remain incomplete. There will be moments when you must choose faith repeatedly, sometimes daily, sometimes moment by moment. Faith is not a single decision, it is a continual posture of the heart. Each time you choose trust over anxiety, obedience over hesitation, you strengthen that posture. God honors consistency. Even small acts of faith accumulate into a life that reflects divine guidance. This season will also reveal the power of patience. Waiting does not mean stagnation. Waiting, when aligned with God, is active trust. It is preparation without panic, movement without haste. As you wait, your spirit is being trained to hold greater responsibility without losing balance. Patience refines vision, teaching you to value timing as much as destination. God is drawing you into deeper awareness of presence. You will begin to recognize God not only in moments of prayer, but in ordinary moments, quiet moments, and unremarkable moments. This awareness transforms daily life into sacred ground. When you learn to walk with God consistently, every step gains meaning and every decision carries intention. Do not fear the moments when you feel stretched beyond your comfort. Stretching precedes growth. God expands capacity by inviting you into situations that require reliance beyond yourself. In those moments, you will discover strength that does not originate from effort, but from trust. God meets you precisely where your ability ends. As this season unfolds, your faith will become less reactive and more grounded. You will no longer be moved as easily by uncertainty or distraction. A steadiness will take root within you, anchored in the understanding that God remains constant even when circumstances change. This steadiness is not indifference, it is assurance. Remember that every season carries its own lessons, and this one is no exception. Embrace the lessons without resistance. Learn without rushing. Grow without comparison. God's work in you is intentional and complete in its timing. What feels unfinished today is still unfolding. You are not walking toward something empty. You are walking toward purpose shaped by divine wisdom. Every step taken in obedience strengthens the alignment between your life and God's design. Trust that alignment, even when it demands patience, courage, and surrender. Let this season teach you to stand firmly without rigidity, to move boldly without arrogance, and to trust deeply without fear. God is not seen calling you into confusion, but into clarity that develops through faithfulness. Stay attentive, stay humble, stay willing. What lies ahead is not merely change, it is growth that will echo through every area of your life. God is calling you into a new season, and that call carries intention, refinement, and hope. Walk forward with a steady heart. The presence of God goes with you, and that presence is more than enough. There will be a moment when you recognize that this season is asking you to live with greater honesty before God. Not the kind of honesty that recites rehearsed words, but the kind that stands uncovered and sincere. God is inviting you to bring your real questions, your quiet fears, and your unspoken hopes into divine presence without disguise. Authentic faith is not built on perfection, it is built on truth. When you allow yourself to be fully seen, you discover that God's guidance meets you exactly where you are, not where you pretend to be. This season will teach you the power of stillness. Not silence born from avoidance, but stillness rooted in trust. There is wisdom that only emerges when you stop striving to fill every gap with activity. In stillness, discernment sharpens. In stillness, anxiety loses its grip. God often speaks most clearly when you are willing to pause long enough to listen without interruption. This pause is not wasted time, it is sacred preparation. You may notice that God is shifting your priorities. What once consumed your energy may begin to lose urgency, while what once seemed secondary takes on greater weight. This is alignment at work. God recalibrates focus so that your effort is invested where it truly matters. As your priorities change, your peace will deepen, because peace flows naturally when life is ordered by divine wisdom rather than external pressure. There will be invitations in this season to forgive where resentment once lived, to release where bitterness lingered, and to let go where attachment kept you bound. Forgiveness is not denial of pain, it is refusal to let pain dictate your future. God understands the cost of forgiveness, and God provides the strength to choose it. When you forgive, you do not lose ground, you gain freedom. Freedom creates space for new growth to take root. This season will also reveal the difference between noise and truth. Many voices compete for attention, offering opinions, expectations, and definitions that promise clarity but deliver confusion. God's voice does not compete, it anchors. As you learn to recognize that voice, you will find that clarity does not require volume. Truth settles quietly but firmly within the heart, bringing assurance without urgency. You will be called to steward your energy wisely. Not every demand deserves the same response. God is teaching you to value rest as much as effort, reflection as much as action. Burnout is not a badge of faithfulness. Sustained obedience requires balance shaped by wisdom. When you honor the right, HMS, God establishes, endurance replaces exhaustion. At times, this season will require you to stand alone in conviction. There will be choices you make that are not immediately understood, paths you take that do not come with widespread approval. Loneliness in obedience is not abandonment. It is often the space where courage matures and dependence on God strengthens. In these moments, you will discover that divine companionship outweighs human validation. God is also inviting you to expand your capacity for compassion. As you grow, you will see others differently. Judgment will give way to understanding. Impatience will soften into empathy. This is not weakness, it is depth. Compassion reflects divine character and becomes a powerful force for healing, both within you and around you. This season will ask you to trust God with outcomes you cannot control. Effort has its place, but surrender completes the work. When you release the need to manage every result, you allow God to move freely. Trust transforms uncertainty into possibility. Possibility opens doors that effort alone could never unlock. You may find that gratitude becomes a stronger anchor than expectation. Gratitude keeps you grounded in the present, aware of what is already unfolding. It shifts attention from what is missing to what is being formed. God uses gratitude to stabilize the heart during transition, reminding you that even in change there is provision. As your faith deepens, you will notice a growing resilience within you. Resilience does not mean you are untouched by difficulty. It means you are not defined by it. God is teaching you to recover quickly, to learn without hardening, and to move forward without carrying unnecessary weight. This resilience will sustain you through future seasons yet to come. This new season is shaping your legacy, whether you realize it or not. The choices you make now, the integrity you uphold, and the faith you practice quietly will ripple beyond this moment. God works through consistency more than spectacle. What you build patiently will stand firmly. Remain attentive to the small confirmations along the way. Not every sign will be dramatic, but many will be gentle reminders that you are not walking alone. A sense of peace in the midst of challenge, a timely insight, a renewed strength when fatigue threatens to overwhelm. These are subtle affirmations of divine presence. Do not rush to label this season as easy or difficult. It is formative. God is shaping something enduring within you. Formation often feels demanding because it involves refinement, but refinement produces clarity, strength, and purpose that cannot be manufactured. Let your confidence rest, not in your ability to navigate perfectly, but in God's faithfulness to guide faithfully. Mistakes do not cancel calling. Learning does not negate growth. God's guidance is patient and persistent, leading you forward even when progress feels uneven. Allow hope to remain active, not passive. Hope is not wishful thinking. It is steady expectation grounded in trust. As you move through this season, let hope inform your decisions, your attitude, and your endurance. Hope keeps your vision lifted beyond immediate challenges. This season is an invitation to live with greater intention. Each choice becomes an opportunity to align more closely with divine purpose. Each moment offers the chance to respond with faith rather than fear. God honors intentional living with clarity and peace. Stand firmly in the knowledge that you are being guided with wisdom far greater than your own. The path may unfold gradually, but it unfolds securely. God is calling you into a new season, not to overwhelm you, but to expand you. Walk forward with steadiness, humility, and trust. What is being formed within you now will sustain you long after this season has passed. There will come a point in this season when you realize that God is not only guiding your steps, but teaching you how to walk differently. You will sense a shift in how you respond to pressure, how you interpret setbacks, and how you carry responsibility. Where panic once rushed in, there will now be pause. Where frustration once ruled, there will now be restraint. This is not emotional detachment. It is spiritual maturity taking root. God is training your inner life to remain steady even when circumstances fluctuate. You will also learn that strength does not always appear as intensity. Sometimes strength is expressed, said through restraint, through choosing peace when chaos invites reaction, through choosing faith when worry demands attention. God is refining your responses so that you are no longer driven by impulse, but led by discernment. This refinement will protect you in places where talent alone could not. This season will deepen your understanding of dependence. You will come to recognize that reliance on God is not something you graduate from. It is something you grow into. As responsibility increases, so does the need for humility. God is teaching you that independence may feel empowering, but dependence is what sustains longevity. The more you rely on divine guidance, the lighter the weight becomes. You may notice that your prayers change. They become less about urgency and more about alignment, less about asking for escape and more about asking for wisdom. This shift is significant. It signals that your faith is maturing beyond survival into stewardship. God is shaping your heart to desire not just relief, but purpose in this season. God will also confront the quiet narratives you have carried about yourself. The internal limits you accepted without question will begin to lose their authority. You will see clearly that those boundaries were never divine in origin. God does not call you forward to remain confined by old assumptions. As truth replaces those narratives, confidence will grow, not rooted in self-assurance, but in trust that God equips what God calls. There will be moments when the path feels ordinary, even unremarkable. Do not dismiss these moments. Faithfulness in the ordinary builds the endurance required for the extraordinary. God often works through consistency rather than spectacle. What feels routine to you is still part of a sacred process unfolding with precision. You will learn to recognize when God is asking you to persist and when God is asking you to pause. Discernment will keep you from exhausting yourself unnecessarily. Not every obstacle is meant to be pushed through. Some are invitations to wait, to reassess, and to listen more closely. Wisdom grows when you learn the difference. This season will also heighten your awareness of responsibility. As clarity increases, so does accountability. God is not placing pressure on you. God is entrusting you with insight. Insight carries responsibility, but it also carries protection. When you act in alignment with what you know to be true, you move with confidence rather than fear. There may be times when progress feels uneven. Forward movement rarely appears as a straight line. There will be advances and pauses, clarity and uncertainty. Do not misinterpret fluctuation as failure. God is still guiding you, even through complexity. Trust is built not by constant ease, but by consistent faithfulness through change. You will also discover that joy in this season becomes quieter but deeper. It will no longer depend on outcomes alone, but on alignment. There is a profound satisfaction that comes from knowing you are walking in step with divine guidance, even when the destination is still forming. That joy sustains far longer than excitement ever could. God is teaching you how to carry vision without becoming consumed by it. Vision without balance becomes burden. Balance allows vision to inspire rather than exhaust. As you learn to hold vision with humility and patience, you will find that it sharpens focus without draining strength. This season will refine your sense of purpose. Purpose will feel less like a distant goal and more like a present posture. You will realize that purpose is expressed not only in major decisions, but in daily choices made with integrity and faith. God honors the small acts of obedience just as much as the visible ones. You may sense a growing confidence that does not need constant reassurance. This confidence is not loud or forceful, it is steady. It comes from knowing that even if circumstances shift again, God remains constant. This assurance becomes an anchor when uncertainty arises. As you continue forward, remain teachable. Growth thrives in humility. God continues to guide those who remain open, responsive, and willing to adjust. Teachability keeps your spirit flexible and your vision clear. Do not underestimate the significance of perseverance in this season. Perseverance is not about enduring hardship without feeling. It is about continuing forward with trust, even when emotions fluctuate. God honors perseverance because it reflects faith that is not dependent on mood or momentum. You are being shaped into someone who can carry greater responsibility without losing compassion, greater clarity without losing humility, and greater influence without losing integrity. This shaping takes time, and time is part of the gift. God is not rushing the process because what is being formed must last. let your heart remain open. Let your spirit remain attentive. Let your steps remain steady. God is still calling, still guiding, still working in ways both seen and unseen. This season is not temporary preparation for something meaningful. It is meaningful in itself. What God is building within you now will support everything that comes next. Walk forward with quiet confidence, trust deeply, remain faithful. God is calling you into a new season, and that call is unfolding with wisdom, purpose, and care. So stand here now, fully aware that this moment matters. Not because everything is clear, not because every fear has vanished, but because God is present in this very step. What you are entering is not random, and what you are leaving behind has served its purpose. God is not asking you to rush, to prove, or to perform. God is asking you to trust, to remain faithful, and to keep walking. Even when the road unfolds one step at a time. Let your heart be settled by this truth. You are not late, you are not forgotten, and you are not unprepared. God calls with precision, guides with wisdom, and sustains with faithfulness. Even when you feel weak, divine strength is at work within you. Even when the path feels uncertain, divine purpose is steady beneath your feet. Nothing about this season is wasted, and nothing about your journey has been overlooked. Carry forward with humility, with courage, and with a quiet confidence that does not need constant reassurance. Allow God to continue shaping you, correcting you, strengthening you, and expanding you. Remain attentive to guidance, patient with process, and faithful in action. What is being formed within you now will speak louder than any announcement later. This is not merely a change of circumstances. It is a deepening of trust, a sharpening of vision, and a strengthening of spirit. God is calling you into a new season, and that call is wrapped in purpose, growth, and hope. Walk forward knowing this with certainty. The same God who brought you here will carry you through, and what lies ahead will unfold exactly as it should, in perfect time, under divine care.